are just a different way to show data. We're going to start out by talking about the different parts of a frequency table. There's two different frequencies that are shown in our frequency table. Okay, there's something called joint frequency. Joint frequency. Okay, we're going to fill the table in here in just a second. Okay, and the joint frequency are the inside boxes, ladies. Okay, they're the inside boxes. So joint means two things come together, okay, to create a combination. So for example, we can see how many women want sports cars. So if you look at women, okay, and you look at sports cars, there's 45. Okay, so if you look at that table, the joint frequencies are already filled in. Then we have something called marginal frequencies, M-A-R-G-I-N-A-L, marginal frequency. And those are the total columns, and those are not filled in yet, so we're going to do that. So to get my total here, what am I going to do? Add down. Okay, so if I add 21 and 135, I get 156. Okay, and in sports cars, I would get 84. Okay, and then we're going to go total this way. So men would be 50, 60, and women would be 180. As long as we're doing our math right. Okay, now, that last box we've not filled in yet. I call that the total box. I know it kind of sounds weird, but it is the total amount of people that are usually served. That's usually what we're talking about here. So if we add 156 and 84, or if we add 60 and 180, we should get the same thing, which is 240. Okay, so that question A asks, what do you notice about that box? It's the same total no matter if you do it horizontally or vertically, and right below it you can put, we call that the total. Okay, so for our marginal frequency, an example would be, we can see that the total number of men surveyed was what? How many total men? Yep, 60. We look at men, we go all the way to that total, and it was 60. So again, the marginal frequencies are in the total columns, the joint frequencies are in the middle section. We okay on that so far? Good so far? Okay. All right, the next one is a two-way frequency table where we have percentages. Okay, so now we're just going to be finding percentages. If you look at the first one, that's just an example. Okay, so if you look up top, how many men wanted SUVs? What was the number in your first table? 21. So to find the percentage, we take that 21 and divide it by the total, which is 240. Okay, and we get this decimal. So now we're going to fill in the rest of these boxes. So if you look at women, there were 135 women. Our total was 240. So in our calculators, we punch in 135 divided by 240. And we get 0.5625. I'm going to let you go ahead and tackle that. So you're going to get your calculator. Do that for each box, okay? Do that for each box. I'm not going to write all of my fractions in here because I don't have all my calculators. But you're going to need a calculator. So for each one, I'll just do this one just in case you don't understand. You'll do 156 divided by your total, 240. Put it in your calculator, write down the decimal. And I'll give you just a minute or two to do that. Okay, you can check yours once you get finished and look those up there and see if you agree with me. We having any issues? No, we're good? Okay. So it says, what did you notice about the bottom right cell or your total column? What do you notice? No, what do you notice with this one? This box right here. It's 1. Okay? That should always be 1. So if you're getting a two-way frequency table, which is just percentages, you'll find that out here in just a second. You should always have 1 in that box. Okay. All right, what is the percentage to our men that want an SUV? So if we go and we look at men and SUV, that's this number right here that's already filled in for us, which is 0.0875. That is not a percent. Does anybody know how we can make it into a percent? Yep, move decimal place 2 to the right. Another way is to take that decimal and multiply it by 100. Okay, so either way is fine. You can just move that decimal point so it's 8.75%. All right, what percentage of the people surveyed are women? We go to women. Okay, we go to the total for women because they only gave us one stipulation, is that it's women. And that would be 75% if we move that decimal place. You tracking with me? Okay. Part D, what percentage of the people surveyed want a sports car? 35%. Do you see how they only gave you one stipulation? They didn't tell you it was a male that wanted a sports car or a female that wanted it. They just told you sports car. So that tells you that you look at those margins or the totals. Okay, questions, issues, concerns? All right, let's keep moving. Okay, we need to fill in this table. I think you can do it. You just have to do some subtraction and some addition to fill in the rest of the box. So go ahead and do that. Okay, and then we'll keep moving. There's the correct numbers. Go ahead and check those. Okay, our first question says, what is the number of third-class passengers who died? So we're talking about the Titanic. Okay, number of third-class passengers who died. What would you say? Go to third class, right? Did not survive, 528. How many total passengers survived? Yep, go to survive, all the way to the total, 500. So I want you to look at those last two questions. Okay, the first one was a third class passed away. Okay, that's 2 stipulations. So if you look at that, that's on this inside joint frequency area. Okay, this one, how many total passengers survived? 1 stipulation is on the outside totals. Okay. All right, Percy, how many second-class passengers were on the ship? 284, right? That's another one of those marginal frequencies that's on the very outside. Because there's only one thing that they're asking to be there. Okay, we're going to do some more percentage work. So this lesson is going to get kind of a little bit increasing, like the challenge level will increase a little bit here. All right. This one's not too bad, and then the next page will be a little bit more challenging. Go ahead and, again, fill in your table. Okay, so you're going to do some subtraction, addition, fill in that table.
So here, we can take these, so we do 0.2 plus 0.1 plus 0.15. That'll go there, and then you can help us.
All right, percentage of students with red hair. What's the percentage of students that have red hair? Right here, right? What percentage is that? Move that decimal, please. What is it? 20%. I was hearing 2. That was scaring me a little bit. Okay, 20%. You move that decimal place 2 times. Even if you don't see a 0 or a number after the one number, you can add a 0 in there. Okay. Now, this second part of this question, it says how many students have red hair? In this table, does it tell us exactly how many? No, it tells us the percentage. So, if we know that 20% of the students have red hair, and we know the total amount of students being 20, I can do 20 students times 20%, which is written as 0.20. Right? If I put 20 times 0.20 in my calculator, what do I get? 4. Yep, so that means 4 students. Okay, so if I ask you for a number or a total, but you only have the percentage, all you have to know is your total, which is the 20. You can multiply by your percent. Now, something that's common that I see, people accidentally don't multiply it by the 0.20, they just multiply it by 20. If I did 20 times 20, that would be 400. Is that realistic? No. Okay, there's only 200 students. So be really careful when you're doing those problems. All right, part B. What is the percentage of students with brown eyes and blonde hair? So go to brown eyes, okay, over to blonde hair. There's where we're at. What's that percentage? 10%. Okay, so if I want to find how many students, I'm going to do 20 times 10%. And that should give me 2 students. I want you to try C and D all by yourself. Same idea, but do C and D all by yourself. All right, so part C should be 40%, which is 8 students. D should be 5%, which is 1 student. We okay on that? Yeah? Issues? Issues? Okay, we're going to keep trucking. This one is a little bit more difficult in terms of we have to read and we have to fill in the table based on a paragraph. All right, so we conduct a survey that asks 286 students. Where does 286 go in my table? Bottom right, that is the total, 286. Okay, and we are surveying them whether they play a sport or a musical instrument. 118 of the students play a sport. Where's that going to go? Where's that going to go? Sport, which one am I going to choose? Yes. Tell me when I get to the box. Correct? Yes. Okay, because there's only one stipulation. They play sports. Okay, that's 118. Right? And here's where it gets a little tricky, so you have to really read. It says, and 64 of those. 64 of what? 64 of the 118 play a musical instrument. So which box do I put that in? Yep, right here, under musical instrument, yes. So they play a sport and they play a musical instrument. We tracking on that? Okay. 93 of the students do not play a sport or an instrument. What box is that going to go in? Right here, right? No. That's where we want that to go, 93. Right, now we have to organize and figure out the rest of the numbers. So go ahead and do your subtraction and your addition to figure out the rest of those boxes. Okay, I think that you should be able to answer A through D. I would like to do letter E with you, so please refrain from doing that one. But go ahead and do A, B, C, and D. Okay, what is the number of students who play a sport? 118. We know that it's the 118 because it's one thing. Okay, it's not play a sport and, it's just play a sport. So we go straight to that total. All right, what's the number of students who do not play an instrument?
147.
147. Again, instrument? No, go to that total. What's the number of students who do not play a sport, but they do play an instrument. So no sport, yes instrument, 75. What's the number of students who play a sport and also play an instrument? Yes, that's our yes, 64. Okay, any issues on getting those? Okay, this part is probably the most challenging in my opinion. Ooh, I don't want to go that far. Okay, so we're going to walk through this box together. And I think you'll be fine once we do that. All right, it says, what percentage of the students who play a sport also play an instrument? Okay, so we're going to go through this box, which helps us answer this question. Remember that a percentage is a number divided by a number, okay, or divided by a total, really. Kind of like a test grade. So if you got a 55 out of 80, that means that you earned 55 points out of a total of 80 points. We agree on that? Okay. Here, the total number is the bottom number of your fraction. So right here in this blank space, go ahead and create your fraction bar. Okay, so it says it's the number of students who play a sport. So look at your table that's above. How many total students play a sport? 118. So that's going to be your total that you're using. Okay, now, before we move on, look up to the original question. What percentage of the students who play a sport? Okay, that is the first thing that they ask you. That is going to be your denominator every single time. So whatever they ask you first, that is your total that you're looking for. Okay, then it says, we are only looking at that group right now. Oh, we already said that, 118. Okay, so we have it in our denominator. Now, of those 118 students, we want to know how many of them play an instrument. So find where the table intersects that column for playing an instrument. What's that number? 64. That's our numerator. Okay, this means of the 118 students that play a sport, 64 of them also play an instrument. Okay, now we're not finding how many in the total amount of students, we're just finding how many within playing a sport also play that instrument. All right, let it be 64 divided by 118. Oh, wait a second. No, we're good. Yep. What'd you get? .54 what? 8 overachieving. Okay, so what percentage is that? 54.2%. Okay, so why this is difficult is because you're not using your total. You're using the total that they asked you to use. And so it's hard to pick that out. Okay, now, to get this right to a percent, we can multiply by 100, but we already talked about that. You can move that decimal place as well. Okay, we're going to do another one together, and then I'm going to let you do one on your own, and we'll check it. Okay, part F. What percent of the students who play an instrument? Okay, so the bottom of the fraction will be what? 139, because if you look at instrument, okay, which is this column right here, which is yes, and you look at that total, it's 139. Okay, because we're looking only at students who play an instrument. Okay, and then the top of our fraction will be the number of students in that same column who don't play a sport. What's that number? 75. So in your calculator, 75 over 139. Is it 54%? Is it like 53.9 or something like that? Yeah, so I think we rounded up to 50. We'll just say 54. Okay, use the boxes G and H to help you. Okay, I know that these can be kind of difficult, but the boxes walk you through it. Okay, so go ahead and do G and H on your own. I'll put them up here in just a sec. Don't necessarily worry about getting the blanks filled in perfectly. Just worry about the numbers. Alright, you'll get 32.5% for letter G. No? Thumbs up, yes. I know that you're not wanting to talk, that's fine. Okay, a few of you. Alright, part H. What is the percentage of the students surveyed who do not play an instrument? So when they say of surveyed, that's your total. Okay, so that's where we get the 286. That's your denominator. Okay, and then do not play an instrument. You look at the total for no under instrument, it's 147. So you do 147 over 286. It's like 51, I think 51.4%. Good news, these are as tough as it gets. On this, you know, it's kind of hard to dissect those, but we'll get better. Okay, we'll have some practice tomorrow as well. There's just 2 practice problems on the back. Okay, and at the very bottom are your solutions. You need to check your work. Okay, I'm going to work on those practice. Tomorrow I'll do just a couple of tables. I won't practice today. Each letter at frequency tables. Thursday we'll review. Friday we'll quiz it up. Yes. And I do that because that's me. That means to be speed.
Speedy does all it.
Here.